what was supposed to kill you only made you stronger. Everybody likes to make songs and talk about it and put it on their Instagram, but nobody likes to really sit down and realize you are a literally transformed human being by everything you went through, not by what blessed you, but by what you went through. Blessings don't change you, burdens do. Maybe it's Westminster, W&M, Westminster, maybe.
Oh, W&M. I think that's like either a D2 or a FCS.
Could be.
FCS school.
W&M.
Yeah, that's William and Mary.
William and Mary.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I've heard of them. We're in the Big Ten, so.
Yeah, you definitely are in the Big Ten. My boy plays at Illinois, right? You played at Illinois.
Yeah.
And were you a DB?
Yup, safety.
Good go.
I just got done with some pro day training. Working on vert today. Jumped to 41 is vert today.
That ain't bad, bro. Yeah, that ain't bad.
Yeah, man.
Not bad at all. I once jumped to 70. I'm playing. Yeah, no, I have no idea. I always tell people I only have adrenaline vertical. Anybody else have that issue? Like, I swear to God, like if I'm playing something and my adrenaline's going, like I can fly. And then if we're just doing something like normal and I have zero vertical, if somebody like touch the rim, I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna work. That ain't gonna happen. Awesome. So, anybody have anything to share from this past week? Something that went good in your life? Something positive? Something negative? Something? Ricardo, I owe you a text back. I already know I'm slacking. So give me forgiveness. I already know. See how he's staring at me like that? That's a killer right there. Let's go.
So, I don't mind sharing something.
Share, bro, please.
Yeah, so I feel like I've always just been naturally athletic, and but I never really took in like my eating serious. Like I would just eat whatever.
Like DJ Metcalf?
Yeah, like literally whatever. I never really like focused on my diet, and I always just been in shape. And this week, I kind of made an intention to meet with a nutritionist on our staff, and I met with my nutritionist, and he built out a meal plan for me this week. And to see my numbers from last week to this week, literally just from what I ate and like how my body felt, my like fatigue levels and everything, even my thinking, like just working with business and everything. I feel like everything kind of took a step forward, and a week is a short time, so I kind of felt some encouragement, just continuing to focus on my eating, because I may not be out of shape from eating bad, but from where I was to where I can be, I know that there's a big step. So I feel like just always there's room for improvement, no matter where you're at. So I feel like that's very encouraging.
Fire, bro. Absolute fire.
50 and look this good, so yeah, take advantage of that.
Let's go. You guys might not know, but Ricardo was a pro fighter, so he really used to get down. My first call night, he choked me out. We were doing. I didn't know who he was, and I challenged him. I was probably 18, maybe 19, and it was my first life insurance phone night. Everything was in the field, and we were calling at one of this regional managers in his basement of his mansion, and I knew I wrestled a year or something, and I was like, I don't know, I'll beat this old man up. And I challenged him, and within 10 seconds, he had me in a rear naked choke. It was bad in front of everybody. So, but at least I got respect. People were like, "Oh, that's Ricardo. He's a pro fighter. Respect." So, I don't know, but we'll jump in today, guys. I'm super excited. We're just gonna segue from last week. I'm gonna dive back into what we talked about last week, which was leaving your past and the promised land is ahead of you. And that was in reference to the Israelites being rescued from Egypt, being freed from slavery, and in some points of that, actually praying to go back to slavery because of the devils that you are familiar with. Sometimes we fall in love with those old devils. It prevents us from leveling up and fighting those new devils. But I actually got this. I like to listen to Furtick, and I got inspired from his message today because we're literally talking on the same exact thing. And I've just got this fascination with Old Testament just triumphs and victories in the faith and what it was required of the prophets and the men that God had selected and the women that God had selected to pave the way for Jesus, for his son, for the life that we know now. So the title of the message I have today is You in the Middle, Baby. You're in the middle. And the reason I got the inspiration for that was I'm listening to this message and I literally have been thinking about this for a month, maybe a couple months, and quite honestly, probably for a couple years, just constantly going back to how did these people get enslaved and literally enslaved, and to the extent of like, think of an extremity of your life. And I read a story of a man that was captured yesterday. He was just brought back to America, but he was captured from his boat sinking outside of Venezuela. 60-year-old man, sold all of his, I don't know, his business, etc. I'll put all his money into traveling the world, sank the boat, lost all his money, gets captured in Venezuela, which apparently is not on good terms with America. And he is imprisoned and used as a leverage tool for Venezuela to try to essentially demand from America they release some Venezuelan like gangsters. Like, yo, we'll give you your man back, you give us our man back. It's like, yo, what are you talking about? These guys are like these are killers, these are murderers, these are individuals that have done legitimate crimes. That dude just sank his boat outside of Venezuela, and essentially, I guess it's not a good place. I guess Ricardo's Venezuelan. So, but he described the prison as he was in prison, and for 14 hours a day, they forced him to stay awake and sit in a chair. You can't move. And try to imagine this, because I want you to try to imagine something 10 times worse than this, because I would imagine slavery, prison, being tortured 2,000, 3,000 years ago would have been 10 times worse than what it is today with the things and the resources we have access to. Even in Venezuela, in some slum prison that this guy was captured and held in. And so he said 14 hours a day, he was forced to sit down and they only fed him bread. I guess when you only consume bread, it like messes up your diet. You get constipated and it like just ruins your whole system. And so he's forced to eat bread. He's sitting down 14 hours a day. In addition to that, they blast music 24 hours. All day, all night, blasting music. And I'm sitting here thinking like, dude, if I ever think I have it bad, could I even imagine being in that position? And then I take it a step further and think, imagine generations being enslaved. Your father, your grandfather, your son being born into slavery, living in medieval, not even medieval times, literal biblical historical times where you have like the only resource is you have to go out and kill and find and hunt and gather. And you have this essentially community, but a community of slavery where you're just getting beaten and murdered and tortured. So they escape slavery, which cost thousands of lives. Millions of lives, even. I couldn't even give you like the historical data. Escaping slavery to crossing the Red Sea, which they didn't think was going to happen, and is a whole story in itself. Facing opposition, but opposition behind you and God making a way. That is literally life. I guess in a sense, that's literally the story of today, is being in the middle. Because you got devils behind you, but you got this immovable sea in front of you. But I took it even to the extent of they get through the sea. God makes a way. You get through the day. You didn't think you were going to make it today. You didn't think you were going to make it through whatever relationship issue you're going through, what other business issue you're going through. A lot of you guys know me from sales, and we're in sales together. Maybe we're building businesses together. And we literally, when you're building a business, you're in sales. I would say 70-80% of the time is just going to bed wondering, how am I going to make it happen tomorrow? You're just going to bed like, fingers crossed, throw up a prayer to God, like, well, out of money, out of resources, this got shut down, this happened, this person's complaining, lawsuit in from this, split up with this, so now this relationship just got ruined. How am I going to make it happen? And then God making a way. So they get through the sea, and basically, from my understanding, like of geography, of the locations of passing through the Red Sea where they were located based off the promised land, which was promised to them. It should have been like a 2-week journey. It turned into a 40-year journey. If you guys read through the story of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt through the Red Sea, it went from, apparently it should have been a 2-week journey tops. It turned into 40 years. Stephen Furtick, he put it beautifully this morning. He said, listen, the reason it turned from 2 weeks into a 40-year season is they treated the middle like the end. They treated the middle like the end. It feels like the end when you're in the midst of it because you don't have the vision to see what God has prepared for you ahead. You don't even know how big your promised land is, the blessings in your promised land, what these next steps in these next days, weeks, months, years are going to look like for you, because all you can see is what you're going. As humans, we're limited to the vision that is in our present. So in our present, sometimes we turn the present and we think it's almost immediately infinite, like it's our past. And we look back and we forget, first off, look where you came from. You thought last year you weren't going to make it any further. You thought last year you were going to be stuck. You were going to be in the relationship that you thought was killing you. You were going to have this sickness that you thought was killing you. You were going to have this business issue you thought that was going to take your business out. Now look at you. You're a whole year further. A whole year stronger. What was supposed to kill you only made you stronger. Everybody likes to make songs and talk about it and put it on their Instagram, but nobody likes to really sit down and realize you are a literally transformed human being by everything you went through. Not by what blessed you, but by what you went through. Blessings don't change you, burdens do. So don't get it twisted. You keep praying for change. You keep praying for the blessing, and God gave you the burden, because when you prayed for the blessing, you forgot that on the other side of the blessing is the burden. You can't get one without the other. But when you get into the journey and into the process, and you forget that it literally doesn't matter. You keep thinking today's it. If today is it, and it's the end of this season, that don't mean it's the end of God's season. It just means it's the end of this season of whatever the heck you're involved in right now. Like, there's going to come a day in time, like even Tom Brady had his day. It would have been cool to see Tom Brady win 700 Super Bowls. That would have been sick. Probably one of the greatest athletes to ever exist. 7. There's an end to every season on a human perspective, on a materialistic of like, how much money can I get? We guys, I pray to God that you guys crush it. If you guys are all business minded like myself, I pray you crush it beyond your wildest dreams. But just know there is going to be a season. There is going to be a where it stops. Season over. Next business. Next relationship. Nothing is permanent but God. So understand that the facilitator of all the seasons, the God that was the same God yesterday, today, and tomorrow, he's the one orchestrating. He's the one that says, just because it didn't work with this girl, it didn't work with this guy, it didn't work with that job, that business didn't work out for you, that athletic pursuit didn't work, just because it's over don't mean I'm over. It can end. It's going to end. We're going to end. One thing is for sure, God is not going to end. Just because the season we're in right now, if you start treating where you're at like it's the end, you're going to turn a 2-week journey into a 40-year journey. It didn't have to be that long, dog. You just kept waking up and going to bed and treating every single thing in your life like, well, this is the end. Bro, you forgot where you came from. You forgot the God you're serving. You forgot the God you're praying to. You forgot you forgot. You forgot the who because you were so fascinated on the what. You were so fascinated on the details that you forgot who was the creator of the details. Well, I got to deal with this. Well, I got to deal with that. I remember when I used to have. Back when I had this. Back when I had that. What if I had that? What if we did this? People get so torn in treating the end in their middle process, in this season, which is the middle of let me look back and compare to what I used to have. Let me look forward compared to what I hope I have. You forget how far you came. You forget how far God brought you. You forget, I put it here. Exodus, I believe it's 3:14. I could have put this incorrectly, but I remember, and I've known this for a while, and I forget. And you guys are probably like me. There's so much power in the tongue and what we say and how we say it. And the reason it's really super convicting, regardless of like the level of faith that you have, and there's no measurement to like, oh, I'm a black belt in faith. Like, no, dog, like life just is hard. And it's hard because as humans, we want to be acknowledged, we want to be accepted, we want to provide, we want to protect. And in order to do so, that's us taking on full responsibility. But God, it's not that he's calling us to give up responsibility, but he's calling us to partner responsibility. It's go do the work, but make sure you put the faith in me. Don't put the faith in another man. Don't put the faith in another woman. Don't put the faith in a piece of paper, in a material, in a thing, in a season. Put the faith in the season maker, which is God. But I like here in Exodus, it says the description of God's name is I am. I am. So, and I heard a very, very wealthy man in insurance say this, mentoring a group of people or individuals, whatever. And he was telling people, he's like, do you know what the most powerful thing in the world is? And they're like, no, I don't know, referrals, good leads, better leads, anything other than these leads. And, I'd like to imagine he was laughing, probably not, but it's like, no, it's, let me tell you a story. In the very beginning, when everything was created, if we're all believers, how did everything come to fruition? How was the world created? God spoke and said, let there be. So if you literally look, like we literally go to the Bible so we can fact check ourselves. Genesis 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, let there be light. And there was light. God spoke everything into existence. If God is defined as I am, and we're referencing God, when you're talking bad about yourself, I am behind, I am failing, I am whatever negative descriptive you are using, you were speaking with the power of God. And that's what turns your middle into your end, into your 2-week journey, into your 40 years. It didn't have to be 40 years because you just kept looking at it the wrong way. You kept treating it the wrong way. It ain't the end. It's the middle. It's a blessing. God says the best is ahead of us. The devil lies and says the best is behind us. That familiarity with those past devils is what has people going to bed, waking up, thinking in the midst of their new adversities, their new challenges. Well, what if I went back to what I already struggled with? At least I knew this is what I got out of this. This is what I got out of that. And God says the best is ahead of us. And we thank God with gratitude, which says the best is in the middle. I am blessed to be here, God. I am blessed to be here. Because if you get so caught up in the lies of the devil, of this is where I used to be, this is what I used to have, this is what it used to be like, you're going to destroy yourself. But if you also get so caught up in the kumbaya of waiting around and our God is a faith God, but our God is an action God. If we just are sitting around and, well, God is going to save me. God is going to save you. He gave you a brain. He gave you opportunity. He gave you legs. He gave you arms, a mouth, ability to work. He gave you the tools to go and build. The blessing is in the middle. You thank him and you repay him and you build the life that you want through the middle. You in the middle, dog. You in the middle. You got to fall in love with it. You ain't where you want to be, but you ain't where you used to be. That's the story of my life. That's it. I ain't where I want to be, but I ain't where I used to be. It's never going to change. I've pretty much mastered between my faith and between my work on being able to reflect back just enough to realize God brought me from food stamps, food bank lines, house getting shot up at 17 years old, to not knowing what I was going to do with my life. Both my parents went away, did time, not knowing what did life look like for me? What was going to happen? What, like, as a young man thinking to myself, how am I going to repay my mom for all these nights of tears, these mornings of tears, and her crying and watching her cry and be in pain and work 2-3 jobs, and even my dad getting out of the system and us not having a relationship until I was probably 22, 23 years old. All the things he did well before he went away. How can I repay these individuals? To here I'm at now, struggling, thinking to myself, God, why am I only making, and I'll just be 100% transparent, up to the point now where it's like, God, why am I only doing $1 million a year in business? If I got so caught up in comparing to where I could be, I need 100 million. I need $1 billion. How am I going to be able to take care and repay and do all this and do all that? It's like, I feel like I'm not getting ahead. I see these numbers and these things improving and increasing. But did you not forget, bro? You were in food bank lines 10 years ago, 8 years ago. What are you talking about? Like how else? Like what other type of? What else do we need to know that there's a God? Look back to where you were 5 years ago. If you are not 500 times further than where you used to be, then maybe question your faith. But if we are, every single one of us is in alignment, like I think we are on this call, there is no way that if you look back 5-10 years ago, where you used to be versus where you are now, your life's on a whole different level, dog. You're in the middle. You ain't at the end. The end is death. The alternative to you getting out of the devils that you're facing now, the problems getting punched in the face, it just means you're alive. If you get rid of it, you're dead. Stop praying for the devils to go away because the new levels go away too. Stop praying for the burdens to go away because the blessings go away too. They just come hand in hand, bro. The level up comes with the devils. You're in the middle. You're in the middle. You've always been in the middle. A year ago, you were in the middle. You weren't where you used to be. You ain't where you want to be, though. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. Be grateful for the middle today. Be grateful for the middle this week. Remind yourself, God, I ain't where I want to be, but I ain't where I used to be. I'm good, man. I'm in the middle. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I ain't where I want to be, but I ain't where I used to be. It's simple, man. God is for you. You ain't where you want to be this week. It's so what? So what? You ain't where you want to be yet this year, but you ain't where you used to be. You used to have that bad relationship. You used to have that bad business opportunity. You used to be in a bad business relationship. You were missing out here. You used to be in a bad situation with your health. You used to have this with your family. This used to, like, you ain't where you used to be. I know some of you got stories that blow my story out of the water. Some of y'all lost like some of y'all lost parents already, bro. What are we talking about? It's a different level of agony. What are we talking about? When I talk to my girl and she's seen war, it's a different level of pain. I have a different level of respect for you, but you ain't where you used to be. You ain't where you used to be. It's all good. Thank you, God. We ain't in Egypt. We ain't in the promised land yet, but I'm not going to treat the journey like the end. I ain't turning this 2 weeks into 40 years. This sucker is going to be 2 weeks because I'm grateful. This ain't the end. This is the beginning. I'm not the tail. I'm the head. I'm not the last. I'm the first. We ain't down and out. We up and in. It's all God. It's all God. Ain't where we used to be. We ain't where we used to be. It's all good. So this is probably going to be on my mind, my heart all year long. Something in relation to this message, getting out of Egypt, going through the Red Sea, getting to the promised land, because it's all business. It's all life. You can translate it all to life however you want to, from a business perspective, from a religious perspective, from a spiritual perspective. It's always going to be like this. It's all like, there is no other route. There is no other way. When you are hungry for more in life and you're hungry to have a better relationship with God, it's everything is like this, dog. I ain't where I want to be, but I ain't where I used to be. Praise God. I ain't where I want to be in my relationship, but I ain't where I used to be. I ain't where I want to be in the business, but I ain't where I used to be. I ain't where I want to be in my health, but I ain't where I used to be. I didn't do everything for my mom and my dad yet, but we ain't where we used to be. We ain't in Egypt, dog. We ain't in the promised land yet. But we ain't in Egypt anymore, and we ain't going back. I ain't going back. Don't pray to go back. I can't have anybody around me praying to go back. There ain't no kill me in the middle. If we gonna die, we gonna die in the middle. I ain't dying in Egypt. I'll die right here. So, I don't know if any of you guys are staying on for, I'm going to go through some business lessons, sales lessons. I'm really doing it to generate some more content. It's going to have a bunch of value, but please do not ever feel like one thing I hated, and I'll segue into business. I'll say a quick prayer, but one thing I hated coming up young in business is people making me feel like I had to be on calls and take notes. That when you really reflect on people that actually have a significant amount of wealth, most of the money is not made in taking notes. It's in doing the work. Get some notes here and there, hop on some meetings here and there. But everybody we look up to, bro, that's got hundreds of millions, built legitimate businesses, it ain't like walking around and shadowing somebody and taking notes all day long and oh my God, look at all these meetings I was on. No, bro, it's doing the work. It's doing the work, bro. It's doing the work, being patient. So don't ever feel like, oh, I got to go be on with Tristan's call. That is not... You can brown nose in some sales companies and some businesses, but those are typically low-level idiots that need that. Those are insecure leaders. That's I need someone to call me master coach, sir, and take 10,000 notes on me. Dog, I hope to God, I never want to be like that, bro. Need something I do not have that Napoleon complex, guys. I'm not 6 foot, but I'm dang near close enough to not have that insecurity of please follow me around and take notes all day. Don't need that. Thanks. You know what I mean? I'd rather get paid. But let me say a prayer before I start going off on a business tangent and getting too out of pocket. So, Father God, thank you for bringing us all here together today. We love you. We need more of you. I pray for everybody on this call, in this room, in Miami, in the world, everybody going through anything, God. I pray that, we would be strong men and women aligned in character and morals with a moral compass of just do better for people, do better by people. We are all your children. We're all equal. It's not like one sin is better than the other sin. We've all sinned. We've all gone through pain, and we're going to keep pushing. God, we ain't where we want to be, but we ain't where we used to be because of you. You're the best. You're the greatest. We pray that you would continue to intercede on our behalves, our lives, make us better, heal us, everything we can do to be more of a reflection of your love, your light, your glory, your mercy, all that you are. In Jesus' glorious name, amen. So, Fire. Hop off. Do what you want. Hop on. Do stay. It's all good. I got stuff I'm gonna just talk on and rip through some content. Insecure people. Number one, insecure people spend to impress. Secure people spend to impact. Super simple. Super simple, guys. Insecure people spend to impress. Secure people spend to impact. I'm looking to impact. I'm looking to grow a business. I met three gentlemen. One is a close mentor. I went to his mastermind, and that's one of the best decisions I've ever made, is investing into collaboration and mentorship. I've had phenomenal mentors since I was 18 years old. Like, believe it or not, even if I'm not in communication with some, like I've gotten good things. I've learned what to do. One of my first mentors told me this. I had a sales trainer that was, kind of drunk all the time, and would like just wasn't the best sales trainer, and people would like want to leave, his team, and I never really necessarily cared because I was just working so hard. I was getting paid and not necessarily influenced by him being drunk. So it didn't really affect me whatsoever. And I remember my mentor saying, listen, Tristan, stay with this guy because you're going to learn what to do and what not to do. The dude can sell. He's a good salesman. He's drunk. You know what I mean? So like, learn what not to do. So it's like, sometimes it's invaluable to be around people you don't want to be like, if you can control yourself, because you're learning what not to do, So there's a lot of value in that. But I spent, my girl and I, we spent $20,000 to go to this mastermind event, and it was incredible and valuable to be in a room full of legitimate operators and business owners. And Eric's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but I know he sold his most recent company for $116 million. Nobody with real wealth, for most, like from my research and experience, they typically sell a business. And then like long term, you start to get into like, hey, he's in his late 30s, maybe. But like the only other way would be like through long term real estate, typically, unless guys like inherit money to go into real estate. But even then, it's like short term, you got to build a business, bro. You got to build a business. Like if you're trying to get super, super wealthy, the hack is you have to build a business, and people mock it and make fun. It's like equity. It's like, because my girl and I, we talk about equity and the exposure of like, what do you own? What type of ownership you have? And it's like, people can laugh, but it's like, if you are not investing into building, it's not enough to just invest your money. You need to put your heart and soul into building and getting around builders. You know what I mean? So I don't think you necessarily need to go out and be a pioneer and try to do something new on your own, but I think you should take like the Spartan approach of uniting with a handful of really good people and building something so you can do something incredible. Is my advice in regard to what I've researched, experienced, and seen. I do not have billions of dollars. I've made a gross million since I was 22, 23 years old, and I'm on the journey to getting to a gross 10 mil, 100 mil, just like, everybody else in that journey as well. Second thing is everybody wants to be the Spartan, the champion. Nobody wants to go to war. Super simple. So when you think about sales, it's a contact sport. It's almost like if you guys have ever seen the video of the two dogs barking through the gate. They're barking. They look like they're going to kill each other. The gate opens and then nothing happens. That's like 99% of entrepreneurs nowadays. It's just a bunch of, let me go on Instagram and yap. Let me bark and post all these cool quotes and inspirational things of like, look how cool this is. Look how cool I am. Look at all this money. We're going to go get money today. We're going to get rich today. Buy my course. I'm going to teach coaches how to coach coaches on coaching other coaches. You should be waking up at 2 a.m. What time did you go to bed? You didn't go to bed late enough. Stay up and do kumbaya and do burpees until midnight and then wake up at 1:30 a.m. and do it again. Like, bro, no, the people that are actually getting money are providing value, and their output it's a very simple mechanism. You either sell more of the product or service, or you sell a more expensive product or service. And the biggest thing is just the value that's actually bundled into that product or service. Because a lot of people will just slap a sticker on some dog crap, call it business. And it's like, if you put more focus on generating a higher quality product or service, or being associated with a company that has a higher quality product or service, you're going to be able to deliver to a higher quality group of people, which then allows you to obviously sell. Like for me, I'm always going to choose sell a more expensive product or service because it comes with less headaches. People that have more money, just 99% of the time, it's usually a representation of intellect. Like they're just typically a little smarter and maybe a lot smarter. You want to do business with smarter people. Smarter people come with less headaches because they've already figured out a lot of the problems themselves. Kind of want to go to the bottom and see some of these things. Companies to work for and not to work for. Independency versus codependency. There's levels to everything. On my mind, I've been wanting to create, and I want to do a whiteboard on this, and I will. Maybe. I don't know if anybody even pays attention to whiteboards on YouTube, but when you're analyzing companies to work for and not to work for and to partner with, you want to kind of get a gauge and a vibe on independency training versus codependency. If everything is just depend on us, and I mean this in regard to like when you break down the concept of a company, like what really is going to generate revenue? You need marketing. Think of a company kind of like hunting. Think of it super simple. If you go hunting or fishing, you need to identify like what are you going to be hunting? So fishing is very easy. Like, what are you going to be fishing? Where are you going to be fishing? Okay, we're fishing in the Gulf of America. And you go out there, you're going to cast your net. You got to figure out, where am I casting my net? This is all marketing. Where am I casting my net? What kind of fish do I want? What kind of net do I need? What kind of bait do I need to throw out there? And that's your marketing. And then you generate leads. And then sales is taking those leads, you cast a net, you get the fish in the net, and then it's like, okay, we got to secure this net, bring it on board. And now we have obviously these fish and converting into sales. How many of these fish can we convert into an actual sale? Selling that actually back to an individual person, a business, etc. Think of that as like business 101. So it's like, if a business isn't in a sense, like they need to be fully transparent on why they wouldn't be wanting to make you as independent as possible. Because a piece of it would be called what's called intellectual property, which typically there's usually a price on everything with the right price. So it's like they put some type of time, money, resources into developing some type of system, which usually when it comes to simple regulated products and companies, like there isn't a lot of like intellectual property unless you're in like an actual tech-based company and there was some type of code or something developed that is actual legitimate intellectual property. But it's like, for those of you building like sales companies, involved in sales companies, like your focus should be becoming the lead company. So, there's one thing I see that I like from, part of the sales world that says lead flow is cash flow. This is true. I used to deny this and think, no, you just need to, like everybody controls a lead flow because leads are just human beings. It's a name and a phone number. But there's lead quality is cash and life quality. So lead flow is not enough to just say that it is cash flow. There's levels for us to dissect this. Lead quality is cash and life quality. So the better the lead quality, then I think the lower the comp that a company should be able to give you, as long as they're transparent about, like, imagine working at a company. Would you guys work at a company that every lead you talk to bought and you made $1,000? Every lead you talk to, it's guaranteed. You get on the phone, you're not going to make less than $1,000. Would you take that deal? And there's no limit to how many leads you talk to. Every single one of us would take that deal, it sounds like, right? Now, on the flip side, they get $1,000. So that means you're at 50% commission. In the sales world, that's a lower comp. Some people, it's like, oh, that's a lower comp. So I believe lower comp would correspond with quality of resource. So it's either a lower comp or you're paying for the lead. So identifying again, like your best solution though would be figuring out how to generate that lead yourself. Because you should be so independent that the only reason you have partnerships is because of the value of the relationship and the ability for you to go further with others. But when you start to give up percentages of your commission and allow other companies to determine where that commission is invested, it's like paying half of our money to taxes and not having a say so where the money goes. Would you guys be cool with making $1 million next year, $500,000 going into taxes, and all of it going to kind of like what they recently released in the news, like like integrating transgender soccer in the middle of Cambodia. Are you cool with that? And I really don't care about politics, and like I'm not trying to like spark some political war. Let me make it even simpler. Are you cool with half of your money going somewhere and you have no say-so to it? Nobody's cool with that, bro. I'm not cool with $1. I'm not cool with giving up $1 in some type of form of taxation without me having a say-so. So when you're giving up percentages of commission and you're partnering and you're taking a lower deal, as long as you're bringing the value, there has to be equal value that's being given back, reciprocity. So whatever we're give and take type of deal, you have to realize and kind of identify and ask and look, am I getting back what I'm putting in? Because say you're on a 60% contract. Well, then 40% that you're giving back, you should have a say-so on where are those funds being invested. If you're running stupid leads, I don't know if that's a good investment. If they're just spending a portion of that money on trips, is that a trip you want to go on, or do you want the cash? Trophies, recognition, like, do you want that stuff or do you want the cash? And like, these are legitimate questions I myself as a business owner, I have to ask myself, is that something that the people want? If we are getting an override, what all services and things are we taking care of and are we responsible for fully transparently so that people want to partner with us? Because as the company, you have to realize who generates the revenue? The sales force. So who works for who? People think the salespeople work for the company. And companies get away with this because it's kind of like a tyrannical government, thinking that a couple hundred people can just rule a country. All of these political figures think that, oh, you telling me if 300 something million people united and say, we don't like you, we don't like what you're doing with our money, you're done. We allow the government to rule us because of, I don't want to call it like a fear mongering, but we give them permission. It's the same exact structure of a sales company. It's the producers that run the company. The real CEO is the person bringing the revenue. So companies, if they don't get this in check and they're not supporting and serving their number one customer, which is the producer, the person driving the revenue, they will, if not quickly, they will eventually go out of business, or they will attract very low quality people, and those companies typically have low quality retention. Super simple. Who am I working with? What am I getting out of this? What are the next 5-10 years? What does this opportunity look like for me? Anybody you look up to, these are questions they're asking. What does this look like for me? What does this look like for us? And being honest with yourself too. There's a lot of losers out there that think they're worth millions of dollars. They ain't worth $10. You got to know your worth, but you got to know what, like, you can't submit either to fear mongering and people telling you, well, we invested in this, we invest in that. Show me. What are we investing into? There should be fully exposed financial meetings of here's what we did with this, here's what we did with that in support of you, and here's the fair share of what we took as being executives and handling this. Why wouldn't, I feel like the Department of Government Efficiency should break down in some of these companies as well and just kind of do educational, content on like, here's how you should be selecting where to use your life. You only got one life. Before you earn respect from the champs, from high-level individuals in life, I put the champs, I just love fighting, so I like to think of like champions in fighting. Before you earn respect from the champions in life, they got to see how you handle the blood. Can you go championship rounds? How do you handle them? I love UFC. I love fighting. And I have never seen, from a high-level fighter, professional fighter, when I get respect from a professional fighter, I'm going to tell you right now, 100% of the time, it's never on my technique. It's never like, oh, brother, you have such a great jab. You have such a great low kick. It's never, ever, and nor will it probably ever be, because I got into like actual technical striking so late, will it ever probably be on my skill set of striking. What it is my skill set of endurance. Your skill set of endurance in entrepreneurship and business is where recognition and appreciation from the right people is going to come from. I do not care about impressing or being understood by losers, broke, fat, stupid people that mistreat their wives, their daughters, their mothers, the people in general of their life that don't know how to talk properly or respectfully to a waiter, a waitress, to a human being that can never do anything to them or for them. I should say, I don't care about that person. I shouldn't say I don't care. I don't care about their opinion. The opinion I do care about is somebody I look up to that I would trade places with. Who's making massive impact, changing lives, has a jet, has jets. What? And people are like, that's materialistic. Well, yes, it is. I love freedom. I love freedom. I love that money brings freedom. And if I can teach others how to get their freedom, because I believe that if you don't have an absurd amount of money, then you're essentially living in a glorified slavery system. I think it's worse than what it even used to be. You know what I mean? I think we're allowing people to fool us and take advantage of us and making us think because we live just above minimum wage and go into debt to build up other people's companies and make other people super rich. Well, no, not at all. I think you should have a burning obsession to get as rich as possible. Not so you can go fool around with a bunch of women and just get a big mansion and get, not for the materials and the aspect of that, but because of you deserve to have the best customer service. You deserve to be treated like a king and a queen, and your family deserves that. You deserve to create a legacy that is going to withstand a couple generations. One of my favorite questions to ask young men and to ask myself is, what is your great-great-grandfather's name? Do you know? Do you know your great-great-grandfather's name? Think back. You know your father's name. You know your grandfather's name. I don't even know my great-grandfather's name on my dad's side. I know my great-grandfather's name on my mom's side. So just after 2 generations on my dad's side, I've already forgotten. Shame on me. Do a little more research. I know my dad knows. But you should have a story and a testimony that is so convicting, you cannot be forgotten. I refuse it. And it's like, a piece of it is like, who cares, dude? Do your work and do what you can. But like, no, not for me. It's not enough. It's not enough. It ain't enough. The money is not enough. The freedom, the legacy, everything that coincides with it, it's needed. Before you earn your respect from the champions, they got to see how you handle the blood. The people you look up to in the business world, I got to see how you handle real adversity. Not working stupid leads in a stupid company and being paraded around, and like none of that stupid low level stuff. I'm talking about real entrepreneurial challenges, leveling up and doing things. Like, I need to see you actually in business get punched in the mouth, bankrupt, business fell apart, people quit on you, all types of real legitimate adversity. How do you handle that? A killer in the octagon smiles. The blood starts pouring, they smile. Game on, fight on. After round 3, 5-minute rounds. I don't know if you guys have ever fought, rolled, jiu-jitsu, wrestle, anything like that. Listen, I spar, it's 3 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's 3-minute rounds. Sometimes 2-3-minute rounds is like, my God, where am I at? Especially against a high level guy. Like a professional guy. And I'm talking about a high level guy for me, a professional guy for me. There's levels to it. The pro guys I'm fighting, I don't know if they've had a championship fight of like fighting a super high level guy. I know my trainer now, he is. I mean, like, this guy's fighting Gilbert Burns, fighting like super high level champion level guys. It's a different level. Can you go 5-minute rounds, bro? Entrepreneurship, 5-minute rounds. You know what that means? You go until you die. Those are my favorite entrepreneurs. I was at the penthouse I was in. I don't know if you guys follow my Instagram story. I was on a penthouse, and shout out to this gentleman. His name's Dave. And I'll leave it at that. You guys do more. I'll have him on the podcast, and I'll do a little more recognition that way. Multi-hundred millionaire, from my understanding, multiple exits, and he thinks his next exit's going to be $1 billion exit. And he's 50s. And I was like, do you ever plan on stopping? Why do you keep going? He's like, when I was 24 years old, I was misdiagnosed with a terminal illness. I thought I was going to, like, the doctors told me I had 6 months to live. Thought I was going to die. Everything after that has been a bonus. I'm going to go until I die. I can't operate unless I'm building. That's the 1% of the 1%. I will never stop. I don't care what happens, how much money I lose, how much money I have, who does this, what I lose there, what I lose there. It's like, I live this life which kind of sounds maybe crazy, where it's like, there's no prenuptial agreement where I go into a business deal, and I probably need to do better at this because I've lost a lot of money not reading the contracts. But I have definitely living by this philosophy like a freaking killer, like a Spartan of like, bro, whatever you take from me, whatever you think that I owe you, whatever, just know I'm going to get it back and 1,000 times more because it's in my blood. It's in my soul. That's how I operate. What are we talking about? There's no other way to get the job done. Different debts, when to use and not use them, time and cash debt. When you're building in life, when you're building in sales, you have to analyze your debts. You have your time, which is your most valuable resource. And so when you deliver and invest your time, when you deposit your time into something, understand that the withdrawal on that is not existence in regard to you're not going to get more time. You can't be like, hey, I want to save 3 months of me at 24 years old so I can go back to 3 months. No, you can invest 3 months of you in 24 years old to increase the quality or longevity of your life to buy you a longer life. It won't buy you more time of where you're at. Time is what you have to be most careful and considerate of. So a company that is asking you to invest your time and your money, and there's no equity available, like you're going to put your time into this company and your money into it, anything, I almost look at it as I don't know if college would be the right reference. I feel like some extreme professor is going to come and be like, completely incorrect reference, you're an idiot. But I can't imagine, unless you had scholarships, you had opportunities where that college was going to propel you into a phenomenal situation, networking, athletically. You look at Mark Zuckerberg, that's college. Elon Musk, that's college. Some of these are incredible opportunities. Anybody in the NFL went to college. Any major league sport went to college. Those are investments of time and money. But I'm talking, imagine the kids that go to college and have nothing going for them. They're just partying. So they're investing their time they can never get back and their money. So imagine a kid, everybody, you guys all probably know people that have spent $100,000+ on college and just partied. 4 years of their life, partied, and $100,000. I don't even know what, I would even say what a year of my life is worth. I don't think I would sell a year of my life for a dollar amount. Year of your life, you have to sit in this room and do nothing. No, I'm not selling a year of my life. I can't think of a price. So invaluable in regard to 4 years of your life gone. Now imagine investing that into a company and there's nothing available for you. Hey, look, we'll give you some upfront cash flow, which is great. That's phenomenal. But you're investing your time and your money to build somebody else's company. So you're building the valuation of their company. There's nothing for in there for you. The wisest investment of your time is if you're going to go all in, go all out, and you understand that cash flow just buys you a little more time, unless it's an absurd amount of cash, I would imagine. There needs to be something available for you to earn your way into owning a percentage, some type of valuation, something where if there was going to be a liquidity opportunity that what does that look like for me? I'm a top performer. Why else would you do it? Don't get me wrong. Cash flow is king, 1,000%. But what are most of these actual sales companies, average reps making? $100,000 a year? You've got to be very careful and considerate if you're a killer on where you're putting your time, your money, and your focus. Weak leaders muddy the water to make it seem deep. That one's simple. Weak leaders muddy the water to make it seem deep. Everybody knows leaders that make things sound way more complicated, in-depth, scary, way more than what it truly is, to make the water seem deeper than what it truly is. It's not that hard. It's not as hard as you think it is. Can you get people interested in your product? Can you get a bunch of people interested in your product or service? That's marketing. And then can you sell them on using your product or service? That's sales. For the most part, guys, that's a company. Can you market your product? Like, it's not the best product, it's the best known product. Marketing's everything. Whoever controls the marketing controls the market. That's it. Like, don't be discouraged. Don't be deceived by weak level leaders, low level leaders that are extremely weak, extremely soft, and were too scared to go out and do their own thing and fell in love with the comfortability of where they were at, the complacency where they were at, and it just robs kids and people of their dreams because it's like, oh, well, we'll just do this because it's easy, it's comfortable. No, again, it goes back to the very beginning where I told you independency over codependency. It'll cost you more time up front to become independent, but once you figure out for building a business, marketing and sales, it's like now you're able to partner with high level people. Like, I understand marketing and sales. Do you know how much I would be willing to pay and invest and partner and give out percentages of ownership for people that come to me and are like, hey, I'm able to market my own leads and I'm already doing $1 million a year in sales through my marketing, lead generation, and sales. Oh my God, bro, what are you talking about? 99.99% of people, it's not that they are too stupid to figure out the marketing and lead generation. They're too weak. They're too impatient. People are too scared. I don't know if it's going to work out. It's going to work out. If you're patient enough, it literally just takes time. Like, it doesn't take as much money as you think it does. It definitely takes the amount of time. And the more money and reps you put in, it just decreases the amount of time it actually takes. Doesn't take as long as people think it is, nor does it cost as much as people think it costs. This is a good one that I put in a week ago. God was creating a space for more and better. Just because you're praying for God to take you to your next promised land, don't forget the days you used to pray to be at the promised land you're at now. There's areas in your life and business, relationships, you used to pray to have what you have now. Anything you ever lost, you never lost. It's either a lesson or a season of earning. Most seasons you're learning. Earning is always at the end, obviously, of learning, but most seasons, especially when you're a real pusher, you're a real hustler, you're always just going back in, more in, and then the earning is on the other side. More time, more money, more reps, more time, more money, more reps. Fail, more time, more money, more reps. Fail, lose somebody, lose more people, lawsuit, step back, not living the life that I want to live, don't have the toys I want to have. More money, more time, more reps. And then overnight, oh my God, overnight success. How did you get hundreds of millions of dollars? Well, I wasn't a freaking sales hamster for another company for 20, 30 years. I went out and built something real with other people, built a real business, united with individuals, and said, we're going to take on all the responsibility. The more responsibility you defer, the more risk you defer, which means the more risk you push away, the more reward you push away. And then somebody's just compensating you the difference. You're giving them the risk. They're getting paid for it, a bunch of money. They're getting the ownership, a bunch of money, a bunch of equity. And you're just saying, yeah, just give me $500,000 a year. Just give me $1 million a year. I feel like a big dog. And then they turn 30, 40, 50 years old and they're like, how come I never got the jet? Because you pushed the risk away, little Timmy. You got scared. It's more time, more failure, more money, back in, more risk. Super simple equation. The more risk and responsibility you can absorb and assume, and the longer you can defer your ego. You want to push off your ego. Okay, don't have the car I want yet. Don't have the jet yet. Don't have the yacht yet. Don't have the house yet. Push that off. The people that are constantly just using the materials to push out, like, come buy my course, come work for me. That is I don't want to call it I I don't want to completely call it a scam. I feel like there's some good online coaches out there that I like and I respect that are doing some good work. I don't know in regard to this. I haven't met an online coach that has a jet. You know, I talked to Spofford, and he's always like, the Instagram and online coach ratio of having a jet or a yacht is like non-existent. I don't know any online coaches. I don't know any sales hamsters or sales guys that are not owning the company, that don't have equity in the company, that have the jet or the yacht. Like, there's levels of wealth, and that's just a representation of wealth. Getting a car, getting the material, like getting a super nice car, just represents you know how to get your hands on anywhere from 50 to maybe a couple $100,000 of cash. You don't put your hands on a jet unless you figured out a way to get your hands on a couple $1 million liquid. And that even might be lowball. Like, what are we talking? It's not going to happen, dog. It's representation of who's playing the game the best. And to get to that level, from my talking to people with the jets, it's deferring, pushing off, not risk, taking on more risk and pushing off more ego. All good. Not buying that yet. Not buying that yet. Not buying that yet. Not buying that yet. Boom. 35 years old, got a jet. And then the other 35-year-old who got the Huracan at 25 felt like a king. It's like, damn, what am I doing? I'm still running hype-up meetings at a sales company. Pushing out trophies. Going on stage. Letting other men send me on stage and saying, you have 2 minutes to talk. Here's a trophy. Great job. Keep working hard. And maybe next year you'll get on our stage again, little Tim. Keep working hard. Great work. Listen, recognition's phenomenal, but like, I'm talking to big dogs. You want to be a big dog? Are you on a journey of being a big dog? I'm nowhere am I close to that. But I'm absorbing the risk, deferring the ego. Don't do the car yet. Don't do the car yet. Buy more leads. Don't do the car yet. Buy more staff. Don't do the car yet. Buy more tech. More back into the business. Defer or delay the delayed gratification. And I just get gratification. I get excited about investing back in the company and thinking like legacy, build a bigger company, make my people more money, give out equity opportunities. So it's like not just me that gets the jet. People come be a killer with me. And watch where your life's going to go in 10, 15, 20 years. Not 10, 15, 20 minutes. Go get that fake, hype up life from a sales coach selling you like, let's go do burpees at 2 a.m. or something. I don't know. I don't know where that exists, that it's like going to take you to the next level. It's crazy too. It's like, DM me. I'm going to teach you how to coach coaches. I'm coaching coaches. Let me see here. I like this. I wrote this down. If your dad told you it doesn't matter if you win or you lose, just have fun, your dad's a loser. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was a little viral something that went around years ago. Pee Wee baseball coach sounds harsh, but there truly isn't room for 8th place trophies. Ultimately, people don't even care about 2nd place. Legends, champions, 1st place winners, those are the ones who are remembered and respect. You just got to go out and give your all. Like sales, like I hate all these stupid sales coaching and meetings, and that's why I don't even like to call any of my stuff like sales. I don't even work with people on, I hate working with people on like somebody hitting me up like, how do I sell more? I mean, literally, bro, like how hard are you working? How many dials are you making? How many doors are you knocking on? Like, what are you doing to take control of your marketing and your lead generation? Or are you just letting somebody feed you some leads and telling you anything? Like, hey, you're just not working hard enough. Like, you don't even know. Like, they're just taking commission off you selling whatever you can sell and investing into what they would like. Again, like how smart are we operating here, bro? You develop yourself not to avoid adversity, but to endure it at higher levels. Super simple. You can live your life any way you want, but you can only live it once. You can live your life any way you want to. You can only live it one time. You've got to figure that out now, not later. Later is too late. When you're on your deathbed and you're thinking to yourself, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? You're on your deathbed, dog. There is no rest of your life. You're going to die. You should have figured that out years ago with the time that you had, because time is finite. It's not infinite. It's finite. You're running out of time. We are running out of time. Everybody thinks, I got more time. I'll do it next week. I'll do it tomorrow. No, do it now. Figure it out now. Figure out your next 5 moves, your next 10 moves, your next 15. Figure out your next move. In general, a lot of people don't even know what's the next move. What's going to get you closer to where you need to go? Real men find fulfillment in fighting the biggest giants. And real women find fulfillment in building with that man. So I think of myself as in regard to like fighting, you're going to be looked at, and there's no other way to put it, you're going to be looked at as a pussy if you're going to spar and you pick the weakest person, the newest person, like, oh, okay. We like beating up somebody that's super new, super weak. It would literally almost be equivalent to like me picking a woman to spar. Be like, oh, I'm going to spar that woman. You know what I mean? And then like me being excited about me like doing like a spinning head kick on a woman. Like, oh, I just knocked this person out today. Like, bro, you knocked a woman out. What's wrong with you? As men, again, it goes back to deferring the risk. When you push the risk off and you just keep trying to push more and more risk onto another man, please do this for me. Please figure out marketing. Please figure out leads. Please figure out staff and technology and all these other things. You're saying, I don't want the big fight. I want the little fight. You get paid and remembered and acknowledged in correspondence to the size of the fight that you pick. Pick a smaller fight, you're a smaller man. Pick a big fight, you're a big man. You don't have to win the battle. You win the war by getting back up and fighting again. It's all right. You didn't make it today. You didn't make it. Listen, look, you didn't make it today. It's all right. Keep going. Keep going. Get back up. You didn't get what you wanted to get this year. It's all right. Get back up. Keep going. You didn't get the car that you wanted. You didn't get the house that you wanted. You didn't get the life that you want. So it's all right. Keep going. Keep fighting. Keep getting up and fighting. Keep dialing. Keep taking shots. It's not supposed to happen overnight. That's how you're going to build something special. Well, these look good. Once you figure out the Honda, you got to upgrade your vehicle. I don't even think I talked on this, and I wanted to talk on this in the very beginning, is I think a lot of people misinterpret my message of going out, find equity, go build a business, as they need to do that immediately. I think I spent an incredible amount of time of my 20s, almost 6 years in my, probably almost closer to 7 years in my 20s, figuring out the ins and outs of building a business through giving up everything that I've talked about, giving up more risk in lead generation and marketing, but figuring out how to build teams, training, sales training, elite level sales training, especially when you're working with lower quality products, lower quality people and systems and everything like that. Like from the ins and outs of myself, by 21 years old, I was a franchise owner in a company, with the proven abilities to recruit hundreds of people, train hundreds of people, and teach them how to sell a hard product, teach them how to sell life insurance. You know what I mean? So it's like, all of that I would consider when I met, an entrepreneur that I like and have a good friendship with, and his name's John Sarasani. He lives in Chicago and exited an insurance company for $50 million. And he said, everything that you did was not a waste. It's paid training. But there's levels of vehicles. Like the Honda is not going to get you. It's not going to get you to Mars. Like if your dream is to go out of this world to in regard to your goals, you want to be a billionaire. The Honda, the vehicle you're in right now, guys, more than likely it's not going to get you there. You're getting paid training right now. Like if there's no ownership opportunity, you're not building a business, odds are it's not going to get you to where you want to go. But there's paid training, there's levels. It's like going to the NFL. You can't go from Pee Wee to the NFL. You know what I mean? Like you're in a Honda right now. Figure out the Honda, get from point A to point B, but point A to point B vehicle might break down, or you might outgrow, is what I should say. You should outgrow the Honda as quickly as possible, and then you're going to want to get into the Lamborghini. And then outgrow the Lamborghini. And the Lamborghini, guys, is not the actual car. It's the next level up in your life. That's the next opportunity. And then maybe you start building your business and you build a okay type of plane. And then you really hit it and you start building that spaceship. And that's that 10, 15 year journey of building your business. And you have this massive exit and it's boom, game over. It's game over. But I don't even know if I believe in exits it's bullshit. I'm talking about these exits. I listen to Mr. Beast, and he's had opportunity to sell, I guess, his media channels and everything that he's built up, which has been incredible. And he's like, he was talking to Mark Zuckerberg, or heard Mark Zuckerberg when he got $1 billion offer for Facebook when they were building it. He was like, why didn't you sell? He's like, why would I sell? What would I do? Take the cash and do what? Start building another tech company? I like the one that I have. Real killers just keep building, bro. That's like I haven't got any offers. I just a month into building, this new company, but makes me think though, what am I gonna do, bro? My skill is sales. My skill is insurance. What would I do? What would I do? Something to think on. Once you figure out the Honda though, upgrade your vehicle. You can't get ocean food by staying in the fish tank. You can't live an ocean life by staying in the fish tank. You can't get the life of your dreams by staying in the Honda. You got to get, like, if you're going to the moon, you need a spaceship. The girl you with, she ain't spaceship vibes. The guy you got, that ain't spaceship vibes. The circle you have right now, that's probably not spaceship vibes. It's probably not a spaceship circle. Like, you probably are not in the exponential growth type of vehicle, the vehicle that has the propellant system to take you to where you want to go, but you're in a vehicle. So learn what you can, learn what not to do, but be ready to level up. Don't allow the falsity, the false vision of this loyalty you need to maintain to, well, I had these people and I had that girl and I had that guy, and so I need to stay loyal to this, and I need to stay, you need to stay loyal to the vision. Don't compromise your morals, but you need to get to the vision as quickly as possible because life is so short. I think, I put in here, people should have a vision board of good and bad, so it pulls and pushes, because I think a vision board of just good things is going to pull you, but I think a vision board or a reminder of what life will look like if you don't take risk, if you don't take the chances, if you don't do the work, reminding yourself, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. Here's the negative outcomes. Don't eat what you should eat. You're going to get fatter. Do this. Try to sneak around on your girl. You're going to get broken up with. You're going to lose a good thing over a little fun thing. You want to cheat on your business. You're going to lose this money. You want to do this. You're going to lose that. Like, you should have the negative reminders as well of what could potentially happen if you take the shortcuts. Should have good and bad. I think how much time and resource you invest into you reflects how much you truly love yourself and believe in yourself. Like, anytime somebody's telling me in regard to like what they're not willing to invest in themselves, or what they think is a lot of money in regard to time. Oh, I don't want to spend, a week, month, years building something for myself. I don't want to spend this much money investing into mentorship, collaboration, anything like that. It's like, oh, you don't love yourself. Would you speak like this in regard to building a relationship with your wife? With your children? Can you put a price on them? If you couldn't put a price on them, it starts with you not putting a price on you. You deserve the best. You deserve to become better. How are you going to become better? It's on the other side of you investing into yourself. Character is your fate. Show me somebody's character, I'm going to show you their fate. Especially when it comes to building a business, sales, like how you operate when nobody else is watching, your intentions, your agenda, it is going to completely correspond with a life congruency of you're going to get out what you put in. Life is an external reflection of our internal beings. It's not the other way around. Like, we get out what we put in. Stories don't sell, history sells. You don't get a good history by being a quitter. That was hard. That's a hard one. Stories don't sell, history sells. You don't get a good history by being a quitter. That's the life, man. Like, if you're going to have a better life, your history, people's like, well, my story sells. Man, your story sucks, dog. Like, my story and my speaking, there's conviction in it because I've driven hundreds of thousands of miles, knocked on thousands of doors, lost millions of dollars, lived on zero, lived on a couch for 3 years, building a business, a franchise ownership business where there was millions of dollars going on my 1099, All of it was going back into the business, had nothing, lived on the floor, building up these sales teams and had nothing. So it's like when I speak to people in regard to like, not even just my childhood come up, when my sales come up of like, oh, how do you speak like this? And I was like, I didn't quit on the process. I didn't quit on the people that other people would have quit on and wouldn't have taken a chance on because somebody took a chance on me. And I took a chance on me every single day. And God took a chance on me every single day. So every door knock was worth it. Every dial was worth it. It's all worth it. Because if I don't get paid and compensated in the form of cash today, I get compensated in the form of legacy tomorrow. Building my story. I always tell people to get paid off it, but I'm building my story. And not delusionally, like looking to go do stupid things and waste my time and waste my life. I'm not looking to do delusional things. I'm looking to build that resume of figuring out what not to do and what to do. And it's typically, the fastest way is typically just through thousands of reps. Go do thousands of dials. Go do thousands of hours. Go make thousands of videos. People are like, what should I do? What's it going to cost me to do what you've done? It's going to cost you your life. Go do it, bro. It's worth it. Your mom is worth it. Anytime you feel like giving up, quitting, throwing the towel in, look your mom in the eyes. Look your wife, look your husband, look your girl, look your if you don't have children, imagine your children and looking your son in the eyes and saying, son, I'm sorry your father was a quitter. It doesn't happen, bro. Some of my favorite movies, it's always war movies, it's always hero movies. I always talk on this. We love war movies, we love hero movies because the hero almost loses everything, loses every battle, but wins the war in the last couple minutes of the movie. And you want to be a hero. You want to be a superhero. You want to be a killer. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen if you're not willing to give it all up. If you're not willing to give it all up, if you're not willing to live most of your life creating that story, going through that legacy, going through that journey, you're going to lose. The most important piece, it isn't the compensation. It isn't what you earn at the end. It's who you become and what you earn in the midst. Kind of like that message today, in the middle. It's the middle. It's the process that you fall in love with, that everybody falls in love with you because people love to see you rise. People don't care about the fat champion just sitting in the throne. I'm the champion. I'm not fighting anybody. I'm the champion. I made it. People want to see you rise, fighting, conquering David and Goliath, Leonidas, fighting. People love to see a leader who is fighting. You know why we love Trump? He's 9,000 years old too. He was shot and he got up and kept fighting. Has anybody been shot at? My house has been shot up, but I wasn't shot at. Had guns around me, but I don't really feel like I've had a gun like pointed directly at me in a threatening way. Twice in a threatening way. That's a different level of adrenaline. I haven't been shot. We love Trump. You love a man like Trump, not just his political, his economical views and his, brilliance there. You love a fighter, an underdog. Boom, shot at, got back up, keep going. That's building a business. That's sales. Get shot up, keep going. So what you hate me? So what you're laughing at me? So what? We had to start over. We don't have everything we want. We don't got the jet. We don't got that. You're laughing. You're making fun of us. We don't care. We're going to war. Shoot at us. Make fun of us. Keep coming for us. Keep coming after us. I'm going to keep showing up like I've been showing up. I will sleep on the floor like I've slept on the floor for years just to beat you. It ain't enough to win. I want to annihilate the competition. It ain't enough to win. I need to take your soul. That's the story that moves souls. We were like, how do I speak better? Stop quitting. I'm going to start doing public speaking courses. People are like, how do I speak better? How do I move the attitude? Well, maybe if you stop quitting and you start building something, you start absorbing more risk and assuming more risk, maybe you'd have something to speak about. You have nothing to speak about because you've been soft. I only got a couple more minutes. My phone's blowing up. My girl was blowing me up to the extent that it looks like she had to hop on just to maybe see that I was actually running a Zoom like I told her I would be. So I don't know what else I would be doing. It's only a wasted season if you don't work and learn from it. Learn in it and from it. It's a waiting season when you are working and learning on it and from it. It's not a wasted season. It's a waiting season. It's a waiting season. So it changes from wasted to waiting, not just off of learning and gathering information and assessing what did I do wrong, what can I do better, but as soon as you start implementing new ideas based off information gathered, then it turns into a waiting season. Like my girl does all the lead generation. It's a waiting season. Leads have to optimize. They get better. They do worse. They get better. They do worse. They get better. They do worse. They get better. It's not a wasted season. We're not wasting money. It's a waiting season. As quickly as she learns something, she implements something new. We learn something, we implement something new. The time that it takes you from gathering the information, acknowledging you need to learn, to implement, that is wasted time. If it takes you 5 minutes, 5 years, some people it takes them never. They're just too scared. So that's all wasted. That would be a wasted season. It's only a wasted season if you wait on the implementation. But then you implement and you wait for a new result, and just kind of like science, you have a thesis. Here's what we theoretically believe. Then you have your actual result. Here's what happened. Here's the outcome. Now we make more tweaks and adjustments. Tweak this variable, adjust this variable, minimize your variables to try to be as controllable as possible. And boom, you just start printing money. This one's funny. We could end with this. I used to smoke a lot right before I met my girl, and I never really felt like it controlled me. I pretty much only smoked on Saturdays. And like right before I met my girl, I was smoking. And, I was a grown man, 25 years old. Grown man, didn't care. I would smoke Saturdays. And I'm smoking and super high level. I've always been high level. I've always worked 24/7 on building myself, my brand, and building insurance in some way, shape, or form, just building insurance teams, and just worked. You know what I mean? And I'd smoke Saturdays, and it would just be more of a peaceful working session. I was never the type to smoke and just crash out, and literally crash out, not like angry crash out. Like I was never the type to smoke and like fall asleep and fall off or anything like that. And she hit me with this line, and she was like, "You don't seem like the type of man that needs that vice, that would have that in your life." And that's the type of girls you need in your life as men. You don't seem like the man that needs that. It was one of the most beautiful sales persuasive techniques that you can use, because she's complimenting, but simultaneously she is also, there's no other way to put it, like humiliating. Like you, as a man, you need to, we as humans, I think as well, it's like you need to compliment people, but you need to also simultaneously address the problem as deeply as possible. So for her to, by saying you don't seem like, she's making it sound like I imagine you as the greatest man that I've ever met, like a king. I look at you as like a king. You don't need that in your life. You need a woman that'll call you up and call you out, like my best video that says, Gally, I love you, but I need you to not always support me. I need you to always love me. Love me, but don't always support me. That's the people you need in your life. Love me, don't always support me. I know you ain't calling me out, you calling me up. I was here smoking weed every Saturday, listening to Throwbacks. It's the first of the month. I don't know if you guys know that song, Old Throwbacks. And she's like, I'm here as a leader, as a good relationship. You're here. You're always here. I'm here now. Call me up. It's painful, because ego will have you thinking the person that loves you and that's leading you is calling you out. Humility will remind you they're calling you up. I'm calling you up today, guys. I don't know what you're doing, where you're at in your life, but you better knock it off, and you better do more and find better and do better. Assume the risk, put yourself in a position, take on the risk, take on more risk. There's more reward on the risk. I want more risk. I'm hoping my girl lets us invest a lot of money into some UFC tickets in Miami, because we need the risk. So I'm hoping this message goes into her soul and she realizes we need to do this. We need to figure it out. It's good risk. On the other side of the risk is good reward. So love you guys. Appreciate you. Have a great day. Peace.